Hey guys, your girl Mimi. Today I'm going to be talking about things that I think you should do first if you want to move to Canada in 2024. And the reason why I'm making this video is because this year we don't want any story of agent took my money, agent took 3 million, agent took 4 million. And in the past, 7 to 8 months ago, I started a one-on-one consultation. Half of the story was someone who paid someone for something because they didn't know what else to do. So I just feel like, let me just share this, okay? And yeah, without further ado, the very first thing that I would do if I want to move to Canada, regardless of the route that I want to use, I would do something they call CRAS Calculator, okay? And I'm going to leave the link on how to calculate this in the description, or I'll just put it in the comments, okay? What this does for you is, you see those questions you are asking. Oh, I have an high school, can I move? Oh, I only have HND, can I move? Oh, I only have my bachelor's, I'm 42. I don't have, how much do I, you see all those questions? That is what the CRAS calculator helps you to do. So, and it is free. It is there on the Canadian website. I will leave a link again in the description box. You go in there, it's like a questionnaire. You put your first name, because this is the thing. When you ask me and say, oh, Mimi, I'm 42, family of 3, I work as so and so, do you think I'll get Canadian visa? You see, questions like this, I don't have any answers to those, because there are way more, there are other factors that will determine your eligibility. And that eligibility check is what I'm hammering on today. That you click on the link, it's free, the result is instant. You put your name, your first name, your last name, your date of birth, all the questions. What is your work experience, your degree? I even heard something that is very funny, that there are actually people that tell you to pay them to calculate your eligibility, and that's so funny because it's absolutely free. So you put in all your details. If high school is all you have, if carpentry certificate is all you have, you put the details there and then you hit submit. As soon as you submit it, it will tell you that based on the information that you have submitted, you appear to be eligible, or based on the information that you submitted, you are not eligible. So it's like the first answer, so to say. Now, that is CRAS calculator for, let's say, your express entry profile for all program draws and stuff like that. Now, for every other route as well, they have a points-based system on how to calculate. An example, if you are submitting for PMP program, let's say, and you want to submit for your expression of interest, and they say you need 61 points, you would see all the variables and all the things that you need to accumulate that 61 points, and then be able to just, even if you've not written your IELTS, which is like the English test, I don't know if pronouncing all those acronym at once is correct, but it's the IELTS test. If you haven't taken that exam or a test or whatever they call it, you can assume, okay, let's just say you assume that I'm going to get band 7 or band 8, and you put it there and then be tweaking it to see, so that when you are also going to write it, you know exactly the score that you are looking for. For me, I feel like if you take this first step of knowing the things that you already have, things that you're eligible for and the ones you're not eligible for, it will be very difficult for an agent to then lie to you. I used to say don't use an agent, but I stopped saying that. I say use agent, but be aware that the things that the agent require from you, you should be able to provide it when the agent needs it, okay? For example, agent is not going to write the IELTS, agent is not going to help you with proof of fund, your work experience, all those things you have to give it to the agent. And that brings me to the point that the things that you can already start doing. You can start doing your West verification, send all your degree to West, get them verified and all of that. You can start building your account statement, okay? I'll put the price per family members on the screen. You need to build account statement to ensure that you have the required amount for proof of fund, okay? And you need that amount for 6 months. Then you need to actually get your experience later. These things are things that you can start doing already. right now on your own. You need to gather all this information and then start preparing to write your English or your French test. And people often say, okay, what if I'm 45? What if I'm 44? Frankly speaking, there is nobody that you're just going to, no expert you're going to ask and say, I'm 44, do you think I'll qualify? That will say, oh, yes, you can, or no, you can't. It will be based on other variables, like other factors it's not just going to be based on this years old, I have 3 kids and I live in so place. That's not all. So let's, in 2024, please, let's not be victims because we refuse to do the very minimum, which is calculating our own points. And then let's also now talk about, if I'm moving in 2024, in terms of like, because people also ask me this all the time, which is the best province to stay. That's for people who already got their visa and stuff like that. I just say, as far as I'm concerned, Alberta is my absolute favorite. But when it comes to job, I feel like there are more jobs in Ontario, but also the cost of living is way higher there. And it's very important to also consider other factors like, say, for example, I'm from a French-speaking nation. I might want to move to Quebec because that is French-speaking province, okay? And it gives you this European. Quebec is beautiful, Montreal is so beautiful, guys. So you want to look at other things, okay? Job, cost of living, do you have friends and families over there? Diversity. I think the most important is job. And currently I just stay Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia, Nova Scotia. I feel like Saskatchewan as well. I feel like those are just like aside, but Quebec, but there are other things to also consider when you are moving. Now, are there things that, because I do talk about how I moved here on my own, and I mean by doing my application without an agent, and people often ask me, okay, where do I start? And I say the very basic is to understand how to use IRCC websites. And this website, I'm also going to leave it in the description box below. I have a old video on how to create your GCK, how to navigate the IRCC website. Maybe I'll link it up here, or don't even watch mine. Watch how to create express entry profile. There are videos on step by step. Like even if you are a child, you'll be able to follow what the person is doing and do exact same. Okay, but if you do not have the coordinating skill to arrange, this whole thing, there's really nothing an agent is not doing much aside paying attention to detail. So if you know that you don't have that skill to pay attention to detail, to not make mistake or complicate your profile, that's when I think you need an agent. But even at that, you are still going to be a huge part of your application. So if you know that you can pay attention to details, really, instead of paying somebody all these millions and say, oh, Mimi, I was scammed. Oh, Mimi, I didn't get to see your video earlier. I wish I saw your video on time. Which, if you are seeing the video now, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. Let's get to 50K already, please. That would mean a lot to me. And if you're not following me on Instagram, this is a great time to follow me on Instagram. I'll be sharing tips and tricks and small ways to make money online over there. It's just another side hustle for myself and all of that. So you're going to learn from other people, back to the story, or how to create your own profile. And another thing that I want to touch on quickly is visitor visa. You do not need somebody to apply for visitor visa for you. First of all, that whole thing is $185, okay? And that includes the biometric fee. But the reason why you're paying someone is, again, attention to details. There are tons of video on step by step how to apply for this thing on your own. Oftentimes, if you are not actively involved in your own application, this is when agent tells you all manner of things, and then you get here and you get into trouble. And I haven't said that to say that it's okay to come here with visitor visa if you want to work with it. There are different ways to move to Canada for work. School is one of those routes where you come, you study, you get your postgraduate work permit, and you can also study, and you can be a student and be working while you're studying. If you have your spouse joining you, your spouse can also work while studying. While you're studying, your spouse will be on open work permit. Another way is to come as express entry or program draw, which gives you permanent resident at the end, which is how I'm here. Another way to come here is through provincial nomination. When a particular province in Canada needs your skill and you've applied to them, or you're just in the poll and they come and pick you, and you get PMP nomination, which then gives you permanent resident. Another way is through work, okay? Believe it or not, people get international jobs and move here. It's probably not the most common, but it's still possible and people do it. People get it all the time. I still had a consultation yesterday with someone who got a farm job from Nigeria to come here and work. If you're interested in those kind of job, I'll say, look for how to get those. I can't tell you that I know. The ones that I do share are different job fairs that they often do, like the one that happened last is it in October. The one that happened in October, was it in October or November? I was posting it all the time, and at least 4 people from my channel got interview opportunities, and they, we had that one-on-one conversation on this is how to approach interviews. Of course, how you speak during an interview is totally up to you to sell and market yourself, okay? But imagine if you do those interview and you nail it and they give you a job offer, they're going to come to Canada with work permits, okay? And if just on this my small tiny channel 4 people were able to have interview opportunity, you can imagine people that have bigger channels and were able to reach much more people when that job fair happened, okay? And I'll be keeping you guys updated when there's another job fair coming up. I'll post it here. I'll start making videos about it again and again. And to the last point, people would say, okay, how do I get international jobs? Mimi, can you help me get international job? Do you have a legit agent that can help me get international job? It's easy. You go on LinkedIn or you go on your preferred job site, Indeed.Canada or Indeed US, whatever. You look for the job that you are qualified for. So if you're applying to be a DevOps, for example, you apply, you send your resume, you send your cover letter. You have to apply. And it baffles me when people say, help me get a job. Are you trying to say I should help you apply? I should help you interview on your behalf? Because there is really no serious company. I repeat, there is no serious company that is going to employ you without interviewing you. Even if somebody recommends you to a company, okay, let's say someone refers you, you still need to attend it. You need to sell yourself. You still have to be the one to tell the HR or whoever is interviewing you that you can do the job and you're qualified for it. So oftentimes I feel like the questions that we ask some people makes it very easy for us to get scammed, because it's just like the way I am now. And I say, oh, please help me get a job now in your company. Unless you know the owner of that company one-on-one and you tell the person that I have someone that, man, can you help me give this person a job in your company? Aside that kind of relationship, how do you really help someone get a job? You help them by sharing job vacancies, which, for example, you can, share on if you find job opportunities or remote job or, in-person's job, you share. But that person's responsibility is still to, take that step and submit resume. Which brings me to, I said that was my last point, but it seems as if my last is never my last. I've seen your CVs. Some of them are horrible. And throughout last year, I think throughout the last 4 months of last year, almost every video I posted, I was recommending a professional CV writer. And that helped a lot of people. If you might not want to go check, but most of the people that benefited from that good resume service actually sent testimonials and actually commented to say thank you because, I got the job. Not everybody will come back, but at least I got more than 10. If I'm to put all of them together, more than 10 people that a good CV helped, to get a job. The CV is not the one that is giving you the job per se, but it's the one that's, HR looks at it and says, okay, let's call this person for an interview. It gets you to the door. This is what it does. So if you need that service, again, for the 10th time, I'll leave it on the screen. I'll leave it in the description box below. It's the cheapest you're ever going to get. And when I came here, I was looking to, translate my healthcare experience to project management experience and all of those. And this is what this person was able to do for me and merge When it comes to talking, as you can see, I can talk, but I was not able to put all my experience together to make sense for a project management job. So that's why I used them, and I paid $15 for that. So if that's not such a bother, you can also use them. Also, this is 2024. You can even do these things yourself. You just need to Google. You just need to check, research, check templates, see what to do. But if you are like me, you can talk, but you are not really good at the writing aspect, you can use them for $15 and get a good resume. You cannot be looking for an international job with the lowest standard of CV. You also cannot be in Canada looking for a job with a Nigerian standard CV where you are putting all manner of things that are not needed. CV is like 5-page long. Nobody have time to read it. Maximum 2, some preferable 1 page, or maximum 2. Whatever experience you think you have, let people compress it with the right keywords so that ATS is not rejecting you because you've put so many things that are not needed into your resume. So I feel like these are the things we can start doing on our own. We can actually start improving things that will give us better opportunity. We can start by, doing our own very basic research first, utilizing free resources as well that are, here on YouTube, for example, so many channels that you can watch to get started, to understand what is this moving to Canada about, self. What is this jackpot? Does everybody some people will see comment and say, must everybody jackpot? And no, everybody will not jackpot. That's why you are going to help us stay. But we that we're here, we're also helping our nation. We're sending money back home. We're contributing to the economy in many ways. I have investments, and all of that was because I was in a place where I was able to earn. So please, I don't want to see that kind of comments. Must everybody jackpot? But if you must, you then need to understand that there's no magic. No agent will magically bundle you here unless it's selling you lies. Okay, when you get there, ask for asylum story. When you get there, declare this one, that one. Those things, these people are not mugu. They know, you understand. So we're talking about legit ways, and the very first one is that you take the step to calculate if you're eligible. If you're not eligible for that one, you check another eligibility, check another one. That's the best way to know. And I just feel like it sounds a bit tough, but love is tough. This is like me showing you love by just telling you the truth, and it's tough love. Yeah, let's get things right, okay? If you don't have money to study, honestly, PMP is your best opportunity, especially if you're already above 40. And if you are not above 40 and you are within the age, then join Express Entry Pool. If you are also in Express Entry Pool and you notice that your score is very low, you can even target PMP and submit to them. Or you can even start improving there are so many additional certificates that you can add to help you. Okay, and I feel like I just want to talk to you guys from my heart today, and I hope this helps. Thank you. Take care. Bye.